If you're a sewer, quilter, or crafter, I know you've got lots of leftover material. We gotta do something with it. We're talking about Free February in 2023, where here at Homemade, we're gonna help you use up what you've got.
What the heck do we do with these leftover pieces?
All of these extra little squares,
What do you do with yours?
they've got to be good for something.
It's a mystery.
Register at homemade.ca if you're excited to get your scraps organized in 2023. I am coming to you live from Kingston, Ontario, in the second floor of our new shop that's finally open. Woo! Do you hear the... No applause? Be clapping for us from home. Are we having... Okay. Some sound. I guess everyone's saying it's good now. Hi, everybody. Let us know where you're coming in from. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Giselle. We're seeing lots of familiar names, and it was so nice to see to put some faces to some familiar names. Kathy's clapping. Thank you, Kathy. So many of you guys came to visit us in the shop this weekend for our soft opening. Cheryl D'Souza, we had Steffi, we had Mary, we had Sharon from Coburg, we had Lisa Reed in, who else did we have in? I don't want to leave anyone out because it was so fun to see so many great people come in person, travel far. I will tell you that the grand opening is going to be March 4th. So that's a Saturday. And Amanda Brown, you going to be here March 4th?
I am. I'm coming.
Yes. So we've talked. Hi, Amanda from Janome. Amanda is a Janome educator. If you're joining us for the first time tonight because you've registered for Free February, and here we are, February. We had this idea, like, when was it? Like November or, sometime we're like, everyone's out of money. Everyone's got so much. We've got to get organized. So we spent January getting organized with your help, Amanda. And now we're here ready to put some of these scraps to work.
Yeah.
You're ready?
I'm ready.
Good. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to make I'm turning to the page. It is, not this one, the Scrappy strings block. I'll show you the finished picture here. Maybe we can zoom in a little. It's from Lori Holt's book, Scrappiness is Happiness. Lots of you went ahead and got the kit or got the book. Lots of people bought the book in the shop this weekend. We had a few left over. I think we have 2 left. So if anyone wants to be following along the patterns that we're using for the next 4 weeks, we're going to take from this book here. And this really was great in getting us organized. There is 32 great patterns in here, all designed to help you use up your scraps. We got organized in for the last couple weeks in January. So Amanda, let's just, before we get totally going, let's take a look at what we've been working on. So the first week we did the color blocking, and we can show you that we decided to organize all of our quilting cottons into like colors. So the tip was, when you saw a fabric that the first color that jumped out at you, if it was a multicolored one, is the pile that you put it in. And we sorted by color, and we really looked at our own spaces to decide what kind of organizational system worked best. Are you going to use drawers? Are you going to use bins or boxes? And we started trimming our scraps down. And, we had some debate about what was the best system. And ultimately, you got to do what's best for you. But we can show you the sizes that I recommended so that you know what size scraps you have. And from these sizes, anything larger than that 7-inch or like fat quarter and up, you can put in with your fat quarters or with your yardage. but 7 inches was as big as we went for a scrap, because you can make, 6 inches out of it, 6.5 out of it, 5.5 out of it, and then still be left with a scrap. And then we did 5-inch cuts, 3.5-inch cuts, 2.5-inch cuts, and 1.5-inch cuts. Anything below 1.5 inch, I recommended goes in the textile donation or in your scrap bin to act as stuffing or something like that. So yeah, that's what we've been working on for the last couple weeks. All right, let's see who's tuning in from where. We've got Barbara from Kitchener, Renata from Owen Sound, Susan Elliott, hi there. Hey, Kathy. We've got another Kathy, this time from Milton. She's with a K. Lisa Reed was in the shop today, in from Brockville, Ontario. And if you're watching this right now, you better be sewing your Stargazer blocks, your squares. She said she got all the lines on them and she got the book in the shop, but she really needs to be working on her Stargazer. That's what she's trying to do before her big trip to Cuba, Lucky Duck.
Go.
Speak with her.
Let's go.
Really, really fun. I know, so great. Who's joining in for the first time for Free February? We'd love to hear if you're a first timer. Annalisa, she's in Omaha. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. We've got people from all over: Niagara, St. John's, Newfoundland. There's Nancy, yeah, from Coquitlam, BC, from Niagara, from Lefebvre. There's Susan Elliott. She's a first timer. Hi, Susan. Welcome. If you're new to Homemade, this is a platform where we love when you make things from home, and we want to help you do that. So that kind of sums it up. Everyone say hi to my cousin Allison Tryon. You'll know me, Jennifer Tryon. There's a Tryon on board. There's Allison. She's probably tuning in with her mom, and hey, use up your scraps. That's what we're doing here tonight. All right. We've got Cindy in from Iroquois. I've got lots of family in Iroquois. Someone was in the shop from Iroquois and they were asking, and I was like, yep, they're my cousins. Kim Smith is in from Texas. I don't have any family in Texas, but I do love visiting Texas. Amanda, have you been to Texas?
I have not, but I have friends there, and many of my relatives like to winter there.
Quilt Market is in Texas.
I know. I want to go.
It's very good. Maybe me and you should mosey on down and take a look at some quilts. Huh?
Do it.
Yeah. We're just going to buy like a beep ton of fabric and have to bring another suitcase. And
That's right.
Okay, let's get started. We've got lots of good stuff tonight, but first I want to start with a video that Amanda did because we've been looking for ways to use up our scraps. And I'm going to show you tonight. I am making this Scrappy strip block. I'm going to show you a couple different ideas you can do with this block. And how to put it together. But this is the block, and you can see how when you get more of them together, how it can become like it kind of takes on a different shape as it kind of grows, which is very, very cool. Super, super scrappy, not all one colorway, but you can see that I tried to coordinate the colors. So not a true scrappy, because I'm not putting any like real hard yellows or oranges or things like that. I am trying to coordinate with the bright red, blue, teal, white kind of theme. But you can see I did the exact same thing here. It's the exact same block, but we made it into a pouch. I just took the 1, 2, 3, 4 and sewed them together. If you got the full kit, you got a zipper, a couple of zippers in your kit. So that's going to help you use up some of your scraps. And, then you've got this really great pouch out of just fabric that was sitting in, Cindy, I'm talking about the same, no, it's Iroquois, Ontario, which is, that's what I'm talking about. I have family in Iroquois. We used to visit there all the time as kids. My aunt and uncle are there, my cousins. Anyway. You can turn this block into a pouch. Just don't sew the center seam. I just want you kind of thinking about some cool things that you can do to start using up your scraps. The page that we are going to be working from, if you want to get to it, is it's starting on page 82. Starting on page 82. While we get there, I'm going to go ahead and roll this because this is such a great way to use up your scraps. Thank you, Amanda Brown, for this video. Now let's see if we get some sound here. Somebody tell me if you can hear it.
No.
I can't hear it over here. Oh boy, that's my screen. I'm touching buttons. Okay, what I'm going to get you to do is go to, I'm just going to jump out of here because, Karen, any idea why we don't have sound on this? I'm just asking. I don't think she's hearing us either. Anyway, in the Facebook group, if you're watching from there, we can post a link. Amanda has made this great video. I'll just scroll through quick on how, see this rope here that, can we just click over to the computer? See this rope here? She goes through exactly how she's used her scraps and twisted them. Amanda, why don't you talk about it?
Yeah, so I take the scraps and I cut them into long strings about 1 inch thick, but you can go thicker if you want. And then I twist them in, like you tie them together and you hold them in one hand. And the one at the back, you twist away from you. And then after you've twisted it like 3 or 4 times, you pull it in front of the other one towards you. And that opposite motion really keeps everything twisted together. And you just repeat that step over and over and over. And then it makes twine.
And you made all of this gigantic, like,
yeah.
Oh, OMG.
Right?
And so what are you going to do with this?
Okay, so I think I'm going to make a rug to start.
That's
but I'm also thinking about like making it into a wall hanging. Like maybe making an outline of something and then just filling it all in with twisted fabric in different colors.
Okay, I love it. It'd be so cool if you like, you know, next, if you got the yellow, then you went orange and red and kind of like started or mixed colors together. That's very, very cool. Well, listen, you guys can watch that entire video. She's posted it in the homemade group with Jennifer Tryon. So if you're not a member of that group, just go and join. We post tons of cool stuff there. I'm just going to move this computer out of the way so that we can get to work here. Making this scrappy block because we're actually going to be making stuff tonight following the pattern. I've even got scraps of stabilizer because in this pattern, they are suggesting that we press down our strips onto a fusible stabilizer. So if you got the kit, you got the stabilizer. But I'm going to actually put together my stabilizer even as scraps because I think I need a cutting mat here. And I'm going to pull my ironing board over because that's where we're going to start. There's lots of like pressing and sewing, like all good quilt projects. Okay. I'm going to be sewing tonight on the beautiful, big and beautiful, the big, bold and beautiful M7, the Continental M7. She's a beauty. She's quickly become one of my favorite machines, like go-to machines. So, you know, that's, it's unfortunate because it's not unfortunate. It's actually great, but she's a beauty. She's heavy and big and I'm always like carting her around. Okay, the pattern is calling for all kinds of different size strips. So, you know, we cut down. Someone's saying there's no volume on your live. I think we have volume, and I think it might be on your end. So just check your own feeds because it always sends us into a tailspin when there's no sound. When people say there's no sound, but there is. Anyway, so what we're going to do here is start with a center strip. But first, we want to make sure we have enough to do a 9-inch square block. And the 9-inch square is going to make sort of one of the 4 squares in this block. So like this, one of the 4, which actually makes, sorry, I've sewn so many of these together, which actually makes 1 block, like 4 of them make 1 block. Technically, this is a block too, but Amanda, are you sewing with us tonight?
Yes.
What are you
I have-
making?
I'm gonna make some of the blocks, but I have beautiful, super bright fabrics because we know.
Oh, yes, because you're that kind of girl. And I'm like, the first one I pulled, like super subdued and pastel.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, do you have a method for mixing the lights and the darks? How do you do that?
Well, so when I did this one, the theme was it has to have some kind of pink.
Okay.
And nothing.
I can't hear Jen. Jen has frozen. Can you hear me? Did you lose us all or just Jen? Hello. Hi. How are you? I love when Jen leaves me in charge. I've got 2 strips. I don't know what Jen's going to tell us to do next. But I did find, because I was resistant to the idea of like doing all the different sizes, like cutting everything down. But then I was cursing myself because when I came in to get ready for tonight, I had to sort through my scraps and they weren't easily accessible by size. So I had to then, um, cut them down again. So is that ideal? Maybe not. So now I'm rethinking, maybe I need to cut more consistent sizing in my scraps. But I love this method of just trying everything out and seeing what works for you and what might not work for you. Um, what I was trying to get at with Jen is I have this habit of putting colors together and I will be like, it's a loud color, followed by another loud color, and then another one. And I get these colors together and they're just consistently all very loud. And what I forget is the we sometimes need a spot for our eyes to rest. And so it's good to add in like a lower value color or fabric to give the bright colors, let them pop, but allow your eyes to rest for a moment. And I'm really bad at that because I definitely am a more is more person. So is anyone else doing these blocks with us tonight? What colors are you using? Like, what are your go-to colors? I love yellow. Ooh, you're cutting strips as you use them? Yeah, I get that. I do that a lot. I've done these blocks and done as a quilt as you go. Yeah, I love a good quilt as you go. I haven't done a lot of them, but I do like the flexibility of that. And I do like the idea that you are completing your quilt as you make it instead of like I have so many quilts in one state or another that none of them are finished. Okay, pinks and purples and green. Oh, I like that combo. So much pink, blue. I also love blue. I do have a lot of blue. Black and white. Black and white is so classic and would be stunning in these strip blocks. And Karen, I'm trying to get out of my comfort zone with color and going bolder. Yes, Karen. I want to see it. I want to see it because I know that I love it and I think you'll love it too. Mixing patterns. Oh my goodness, that is such a great idea. Like I tend to have a lot of solid scraps, but then I do have like these patterns. I like to use, I don't know what, minimal design fabrics where they just have little bits on them. That seems to be my favorite. So I like to mix those in too. I use my AccuQuilt to cut my scrap into pieces of blocks. Oh my goodness. Like if I was to add another thing to my little sewing area, I think the AccuQuilt would be up there because it is so versatile. And like I get sore hands, I think from walking the dog too, but sore hands from using my rotary cutter too much because some days it's like 7 or 8 hours of using it consistently throughout the day and it's too much. Oh, small polka dots. I used to love love polka dots. I had so many polka dots, and then it was sort of like the chevron craze for a while. We had tons and tons of chevrons, and then I kind of got over it all. So now I've kind of moved on from them, but I do every once in a while go back to them. It's nice to see your favorites from all your projects. Yes, I love that too, Allison. It's like visiting old friends when you pull out fabrics and you're like, that was a fabric that I used for this thing. And it's such a trip and I love it. Donna goes with tone on tone. Kathy Jones, the new Whale Song group has amazing colors. Oh, the collection. Yes, I saw it in the shop. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. You need to check it out. You can check it out online or go to Kingston. I really hope a whole bunch of you are going to make the trip in March to come and see the grand opening because I'm going to be there. And so will Michael and Jen and I. It's going to be great. So we're going to have fun. Yeah, the purples, teals, and greens are so good. One of my favorites. So we've been talking about sorting our scraps by sizes, and then we're going to make them into these projects. And one thing I love about this book is how it walks you through every single block, and then you get a finished quilt at the end. And there are so many quilts in here. I keep looking through, picking out, I'm like, I need to make a quilt from here, like a full quilt. And I think I've settled, I just can't get over how cute these mushrooms are. Like they're adorable. My biggest problem will be picking out the background fabric. Don't know what I'm going to do. That will be a challenge. But maybe it'll be like a solid color or something kind of muted. Yes, the grand opening is March 4th. I don't know what we're doing yet. We just know that's when we're doing it. We're going to be there demoing things, and I'm sure Jen has a lot of surprises up their sleeve on everything that's going on. Carol Ann, I was late today. I finished the entire quilt from a quilt along in the US. Ooh, green like grass. Quilt along. I love a good quilt along. That's why I like being here. The name of the book, Diane, is Scrappiness is Happiness by Lori Holt. And Jen has just like 2 in the shop to buy, but it's a really cool book. It's just chock full of things. And I know that Lori Holt has been a beloved member of the quilting world for a long time now and has great ideas and great patterns out there. Okay. Karen, very good question. Tell us about the interfacing used here and why it's used. So the whole point of having some sort of interfacing, like here, this is like a stabilizer, which is not the same thing. This is for embroidery, but that's all I have. So I'm making it work. So what this provides us with is a base to sew our strips onto. So if I took these and just sewed them together into a square, that's great. But sometimes you don't know how big of a square, you might miss a little patch as you're sewing them on. So when you use something on the back, you know exactly if everything's covered, you know exactly where to sew it. And having this behind it, having something behind it is going to help everything stay together and not end up with like weird lines going through it. Because sometimes as you're building something out, things tend to get wonky. So having something to just stabilize the back. Now, what can you use? You can use the special interfacing stabilizer that they're talking about in the book. You can use scrap fabric, like a muslin, or you can use someone saying like a quilt batting. Yes, you can even use, if you can find them, because they're hard to find, is telephone books. The pages rip out. If they're big enough, they're 9 inches big, that's big enough. But like newsprints, I know lots of people use like old school, like old things that you find around the house. Newspaper, it works. Newspaper with the ink on it, not great, but you can get the reams of paper, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to do it. Yeah. And then you can, so this one is a sew-in. So, or a cutaway. So it's stronger. It's not gonna pull out. So it would stay in there forever. So one of the main benefits of using a batting is that you now already have basically that sandwiched and quilted onto those, and all you have to do is add a backing and then quilt through it all over again. But it's a great way of cutting down the work that you have to do because every little shortcut helps. But yeah, tissue from the homemade boxes, literally you can use anything that is just going to hold all of your sewing together and make sure that everything just lines up properly. Really, it can be as cheap as you want. And you can try to do it without, and just be aware as you're building the lines out to make sure, like, use a ruler or use even a template like a cardboard. You can cut out a cardboard piece that's 9 by 9, and every time you add a strip, line it back up and then make sure that the next strip is going to be fine, and then take it off the cardboard and sew it together. With the batting stretch, I find it does. I guess it depends on what kind of batting you are using. If you are using a polyester with no scrim, oh, Jennifer, hi.
We blew a big fuse. Continue.
Okay. So if you're using a polyester batting that's really loose, it will stretch, it will move around. But if you're using like a cotton and 80-20 blend with a scrim in it, it's going to hold its shape a lot better. So you can use batting, but it just depends on what kind you have. Would I use a stretch fabric? Probably not, because that would cause a whole bunch of problems. But almost anything else you can use. Hi, Jen.
What? Hi, I appreciate you just keeping going and rolling with it while we got ourselves situated here.
No problem.
Bring
They
me
make
up to
fun of me
speed.
when
Are
I
you guys
just
done?
stare. They make fun of me
What?
when I just stare.
I'm pulling my sewing machine over because where I left off anyway, and I don't know if you guys, covered this or what, but I'm using scrap stabilizer, and it's fusible stabilizer, and I'm resisting the urge to just touch it with my iron.
Yep.
Because if I do, I'm gonna get all that glue over my iron, and I don't want to put another piece on top of it. So I'm just gonna put a row of basting stitches across it here, just to get it going. And so that's what I'm starting with. So we're a little behind because of our power issues. We didn't blow a fuse. We blew a power bar, and the main power bar just had too much plugged into it. We had the iron, we had the sewing machine, we had all the equipment, all the lights, and it couldn't take it. So anyway, I appreciate you answering all those questions. So that's good.
No problem.
All right. So I think the last thing I was asking you is are you sewing tonight?
I am.
Have you been sewing while I was
No, we
doing
were
my
talking
electrical work?
mostly about the colors we're using and how when you have a light color next to a bright color or a dark color, that it gives your eye a place to rest. Because I am bold all the time and I need to learn not to.
Well, and exactly, and I need to be braver and just say, no, you can use that. You can use that. You can use that color. I just started sewing with no bobbin in the machine, everyone. I am your leader, your sewing leader.
It's okay. I was teaching a class and I couldn't get the needle plate to come up. And it kept on giving me an error. And I'm like, that's strange. And I tried like 4 or 5 times, turned it off, turned it back on. Still have a problem. No, I was reading the message wrong. And it was my needle that needed to go up, not my presser foot. And so like, I was like, I'm like, hi, I'm teaching you things.
If anyone wants to change their mind and just, I mean, you'll miss the comedy. I'll tell you, you'll miss the comedy. But, all right. I am putting wrong sides, like right side to wrong side here, and just overlapping this. This is because I'm using scrap pieces of stabilizer also for this block. And so I'm just putting a basting stitch down here. And to do that on your machine, a basting stitch, if you don't know, is just a long stitch that doesn't get knotted. So maybe your machine has a basting stitch, or maybe you just like go ahead and put it on your straight stitch and put it at the highest stitch length that you can, and then just sew straight without back stitching or lock stitching. And you know, what's happening now? It says rethread and start. Okay, soon I'm going to be swearing.
Oh, it did it get rethreaded?
I don't know. I'm just starting all over again. All right, this is in the wrong
This
one.
is a good tip, though. If your machine is doing weird things, just stop and rethread. Always.
Yeah, always just stop and rethread. And I put it in the bottom, and then I didn't rethread the top, and now it's going to hate me. And snips. Good. This happens to you guys too. I know it does, because like sewing is like 90% troubleshooting, 10%. No, it's like 90% troubleshooting, 5% ironing, like another 4%. What else? Like, I don't know, like, and then it's like 2% actually running the machine, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Press her foot down. Look at this. All the luxuries you could ask for in this M7, you know?
User error.
Always user error.
Oh my goodness. So much
you
swearing.
know, even us. Yeah. Yep.
So much swearing.
Here we go. We're sewing now, you guys, and it's just a basting stitch on the very first step of this project.
Yeah, there is a needle threader on Jen's machine. I don't know why she's not using it.
I know. It's a valid point. Because sometimes when lots of things are going wrong, I just opt for the fail safe.
Oh, yeah.
I can see it. I still have the ability to see like the needle or the thread going in. So I'm just going to ride that out. I know my days are numbered. So, hey. Okay, so I see someone asking, what page are we on? It's 82 in the book. And I am doing the Scrappy strings block, which looks like this. If you're just, look, that was my bookmark. Anyway, it's one of the ones I'm going to use. And it's essentially just using up all kinds of different strips. We've cut in strips. I wouldn't use your 7-inch strip. I probably wouldn't use your 5-inch, but get some of your skinny ones, your 1.5s, 2.5, maybe even a 3 going down the middle. That's what I did here, is I put like some big ones. And so it kind of looks, I like it. But what I did make sure what I did was I echoed the block. So if you want there to be at least one thing that connects, then keep that in mind for the block that's going to go beside it. Especially if you're doing a one-off project like a pouch. If you're going to do the big block, like the full quilt block, like this, I don't think it matters quite. In fact, it doesn't matter at all, but it's just sort of a cool look. This one doesn't have anything that, this one doesn't have anything that echoes. Like there's not one that's like continuing around. So you really get that scrappy look. Here, there's a little bit more symmetry because I made sure to echo that, just that one strip. So you can keep that in mind when you're putting them together. But hey, the scrappier, the better too, right? What do you think, Amanda? Do you think go totally scrappy or on this one that I'm making tonight, or do some echoing?
I think you should just go totally scrappy. I think that it takes too much mind power to be organized.
It's true. It's true. Let's turn the volume up on Amanda a little bit, because when I'm sewing, I can never hear what she's, there we go. All right, so this is a 9 by 9-inch block. So I'm going to cut my stabilizer. See how my scrap of stabilizer is sort of like, I should have been more aware of that. So I'm going to square this up. And maybe folding it. Could I leave myself with less space here? Could I have less space?
Yes.
Jeez. It's true. I could. You're right. Thank you for that perspective. I'll just fold it I've got the tiniest cutting mat. I've got it on top of an ironing pad. I only have like the best stuff on earth downstairs. And I'm just like hovering over this tiny little, anyway, whatever. All right. Square it up, back in the scrap bin you go. And I'm going to measure over 9 inches. Keep it folded because that's how it's fitting on my mat. You guys are probably using your appropriate size mat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh yeah, where it's labeled 9. Duh. I mean, I still count over, and I'm starting at 0. And all right,
okay.
There we go.
It's
9.
been a long week already.
I know, it really has. It really has. But hey, this is really fun. Like we're making quilts. I shouldn't complain here. I'm going to square up this side too because it's only square on the one side. So we'll get that slant out of here.
So we have a question about why are we using the stabilizer? And so I think a lot of times when you make string blocks like this, it's just nice to have something anchoring everything together on the back.
Yeah, and I thought the same thing, like what a waste. And then when I put it together, especially when I put it together for the pouch, it was had like a nice structure to it. So, and then I put the batting on after too, and it was, had such a nice structure to it. So let's just try it out. If you do your first one and you're like, meh, I can live without it, then live without it. No problem. If you don't have any of the stabilizer, then just start sewing strips together. No problem. But what I'm doing here is I'm going to take my first strip and I'm just going to audition a few pieces here. Now, Amanda, do you audition pieces or does that go against the nature of something that's truly scrappy?
I probably should. And often I finish a project and I'm like, yeah, I should have thought that through, but I don't. I just happy accidents or disasters. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm an auditioner. I'm like going through and I'm wanting to pick the ones that I think look like the absolute best, like not this one. I'm like, you've not made the cut. You're fired. This is going to be my own version of Scrappy Apprentice.
We are opposites.
What's that?
We are such opposites.
I know. Maybe I'm just a little too anal. I think this is what it's actually. Oh, I like this one. I think this is what it's saying about me, that Jen, you need to let go a little.
Well, like I have heard, they always say opposites attract. And I think it's because we all learn to balance each other out. And so we pick. True. Oh, I love that ice cream fabric.
Yes, I like that too. More than this.
We all learn from each other. The basting stitch on the stabilizer is probably because the stabilizer kind of like puckers up easily. It's very thin and lightweight. So if you have a basting stitch, it's a lot more forgiving as you stitch it together.
And what I want to encourage you to do is choose strips that go well past the edge of your 9-inch block. This also is very helpful. And another reason why the stabilizer here not only helps keep things structured, but it helps you pick the right strips. Because if you just start sewing strips together, you're going to have super, super long ones, and then you're going to end up wasting them. This way I can take my super long one, put it in the middle, and kind of put it 1 point to 1 point. There, that's going to be my middle piece. And then let's choose another one that's long enough to go past. Oh, maybe that should be my middle piece. Choose another one that's long enough to go past the edge, or don't center it, push it up so that you can still maintain quite a bit of the scrap and lay it out so that you can, oh, look at this nice one.
Ooh, I like that one.
In fact, maybe we could, this is like a whole jelly roll strip. Ooh. That is just left over. So I think I'm going to, because I do really like the echoing, like I like things that go on both sides. And I even sometimes like using it together on the same, like that looks cute too.
No, that looks really good.
Yeah. And maybe I should, because look at how that green pulls from here.
Absolutely.
Maybe I should go searching for a little something that's going to help me play off of that, even if it's not in the blue, like maybe it's white.
Yeah, a bit of that.
What do you think?
Oh, I like that blue fabric on the bottom with the pink.
This one?
No, up beside the bright pinks.
Tell me colder. Oh, this one?
No, to the other side of the pinks. That one. See the blue one on the bottom?
Oh,
no,
this one?
That one. Yeah. The white and blue and pink.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to work there, but I like that. I like it a lot.
All right.
But maybe not.
I have anxiety over that one. That one gave me a pain in my tummy.
Oh, I kind of liked that.
Ooh, yes. Which one? This one?
The polka dots.
The polka dots?
They go at different angles in the polka dots on the other strips, though.
Yes, that's true. See, this is why I think auditioning them is fun, because it will make your scraps, in the end, if you're deliberate about putting them down, then you really will feel like, oh, this seems like brand new fabric. If you are like, no, I really love just like that scrappy look, I don't, whatever, like Amanda's saying, then hey, go for it. I mean, it just means we'll be best friends because opposites attract, right?
That's right. That's right. You'll probably touch on this, but I was looking at this and the book has us starting in the middle and stitching out.
Yes.
And you want to make sure you're doing that, because when you cut things or things are just barely fitting, if we started at one end and went to the other, it's quite possible when you open that fabric that you just stitched on that it won't cover.
Yeah. Maybe I just echo this over here like this.
Yeah.
All right.
I like it.
So what I'm going to do here is I could take a picture of it with my phone. I don't know where my phone is. Probably probably dropped it in the toilet earlier this night. Anyway, so let's pretend I took a picture of it with my phone. I'm going to just pull my small ones. I'm going to keep them in line here so I know what goes where. So this is the bottom, and then this is going to be the top. And now this is going to be my very first, and I'm going to press it on. And I mean, I guess you don't have to press it on first, but I'm going to just press. Would you press it on first, Amanda, or would you just go the next one right side together?
I'm actually just using a sew-in stabilizer. So it's actually a what is it? It's a cotton Madeira embroidery stabilizer.
I only had iron-on stabilizer. So you can use iron-on stabilizer as sew-in stabilizer. Like, it's no big deal. You don't have to press it on, or you don't have to iron it on. So I'm going to I am going to iron it on.
Do you have a teeny tiny iron? How do you do this?
How do I do it when it's all like there? I carefully just touch it down. I don't make the whole thing doesn't have to be totally, just enough.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of just doing the tip. If Mary is watching, Mary came into the shop this weekend and bought this iron. And she squealed with delight.
I love it.
Yeah, because we have our two favorite irons in the shop. This is one of them. And we like this because it has a separate water tank. So it's nice and light here. You don't have to you don't have to be lifting the water, you guys. And then you don't have to refill it so much. So she left the store having tried the iron, and then left, went for lunch, and called and was like, I'm coming back for the iron. And so they came back in again. And then they left again and then came back again for more stuff. It was amazing. It was very amazing. Okay, so there's one. And then this one's going to go right sides together, making sure that it's going to you're going to have enough room at the end of your block here.
Yeah.
And we're just sewing a 1/4 inch. So change my stitch, press your foot down, off we go. I'm not back stitching here, just like regular quilting, no back stitching. Okay. And then when we flip this over, you can finger press it down. You can use your little seam roller here. But we are going to press it before we bring over our next right sides together. So if you have a scrap that you know you don't love, like this one, like I don't love this one, and you want to protect your iron if you're using the iron-on stabilizer, should the iron touch it accidentally, it'll just pull off of the stabilizer. So it's not the end of the world. And if you are using iron-on, like we did give you iron-on in the kit, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, don't use steam. Dry iron is best.
Oh, really?
Do you use steam?
Oh, it's been a while since I used it a lot, but I find sometimes the dry iron doesn't stick it as well.
I know, it's true. It doesn't get as hot, right? The steam is like so hot.
But then sometimes the steam will bubble it. It's like a catch-22.
Yeah. So I'm saying dry iron with a good iron like that. Hey. All right, so there's strip 1 and 2. Hey, all right, that was pretty good considering the night we're having. All right, there's the next one, and then it's just gonna go right sides together, just like that. Okay, and then 1/4 inch right along here. And you know, if you've got this book, you can pretty much be making any block you want. Doesn't have to be this one. You could start like making a quilt with any of them, or you know, just do a quilt, or you know, choose any one that you want. This is just what we're doing tonight. Okay, can fold it over. I'm gonna get that pressing cloth again just to protect.
If you have a start stop button and you're not using it, you need to start.
Foot pedals are so 2022.
Like I prefer a foot pedal, but like cases like this, I have my M7 on my cutting table basically. And so I'm standing up with it and using my stop start button. It's so nice.
The stop start button, once you start using it, it really is great for sure. It's a little weird at first, like you develop some new muscle memory. Okay, I'm putting the next one down. See that? Looking nice. And when they're ironed down, it really does keep everything in place, and it matters a whole lot less if your stitching is like perfectly straight. You know what I mean? Because the adhesive there is helping it out. All right, next one. If you have a 1/4 inch foot, you could be using it here too. The HP foot that comes on this machine is beautiful. Oh yeah, she does in the book go one, then the next, then the next. I'm going rogue, doesn't she? Hold on.
Okay, so Donna, I get you on the start stop button not having enough control. It's just a little bit of practice, but I find when I feel out of control, it's because I'm using the start stop for the wrong project, or I'm going too fast. You need to slow it down. Like here, I'm standing far away from it and I'm just moving my fabric with my finger to keep it sewing straight. It's fun.
You guys are right. In the book, she is going like this way, then that way, this way, then that way. It doesn't matter too much, honestly.
No.
I can go this way next if you want, but that's just my brain for you. Where's the other side? I can go this way. But it really doesn't matter. You're doing basically exactly the same step, just on the other side. Right sides together.
You know, if she's doing the middle strip and then she's doing each side, it's quicker in a way because you are able to sit and sew and do 2 lines and then go back to your
That's true. That is true.
Like, do we want to do things quick and easy, or do we want to just be here forever?
It's very true, because I did have to go back. You're right.
that. So many bright colors.
How's yours looking?
It's doing things. It's doing things.
Oh, I like it. It's so satisfying to trim this up, I gotta say, because it really is like a hot mess looking like this way with all of them flying off. You know what I mean?
It
But
is.
trimming it up is pretty satisfying. Try not to mess up all your organization when you, which is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I have piles of everything everywhere now.
Yeah. All right, right sides together here. It does sew up quick. You're right.
Yeah.
Kathy is making a good point there. And you can do these like a little more methodical if you want, where you do all of the, trimming or all of the sewing like at one time. Like maybe you want to do 4 at once or something like that. Yeah. Amanda, you sewing fast?
Well, when you're not talking, I do. I just crank it.
I have a hard time when I'm going at full speed hearing like what you're saying.
Yeah, like I can't hear you when I go that fast.
I know, that's the thing. I had to get them to turn up the speaker because I'm like, I can't. When we have shows like on TSC or whatever, this past week we had TSC, and I'm using the serger, and I had like a crazy number of layers, and I was like, wow. And the host was like, right, Jennifer? And I was like,
Uh-huh.
I was like, right. Hoped it wasn't something terrible.
I don't know.
All right. What I like about going off the edge too is it doesn't really matter where you start. So if you go over a little, like you've got lots of space. Cute. And okay, so look at this. Oh, my name's blocking. I've just got the weeniest, tiniest little.
That's annoying.
That's so annoying. But you got to put another piece, okay? You can't get away with it. So just take a little piece of something. I got like a little one incher here. These are good for something, right?
Yes.
And get it on there, because in the end, you might end up trimming it off. That's fine. But hey, that scrap lived a good, purposeful life then. Even if it did get, at least it got sewn with.
That's right. It's happy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Toy Story. Like they live to serve, All right, so just a little bit. Even though that's literally like a 1/4 inch, but you got to do it.
I like that these are forgiving. So like if you go off a little bit, no one's gonna know.
Yeah, and like I've got look at here. Look at my row of stars, and it kind of gets a little bit cut off.
Sewing with an audience is so much fun.
Yeah, I'm not using my 1/4 inch foot. I'm just using my regular presser foot, which I should be using my 1/4 inch foot, and then I would be more accurate. But
whatever.
Yep, whatever. Here we go.
No one's dying.
No, it's true. But here's the thing. I want to kind of stress, scrappy doesn't necessarily mean messy and that you've done a poor job. So I want to just,
No.
All right. There we go. So this is good. Oh, another little, look at that little. Okay. So I'm just going to take the half of this one, it's over here, and put it here. Echo it over there. Because again, that little bit, but it actually goes to show that I put, an even amount of pieces on each side. And when you are, strategizing on blocks like that, if you can kind of keep your shapes, if you like that symmetrical look, make sure you've got similarly sized rows if you want.
I did all of them.
Done. Let me see. Yeah. Hey, I'm done too. Oh, I like that one.
It's fun.
You have better scraps than me.
I have so many. So many scraps.
I like this one too. I'm going to square it up and let's look at it because it does look quite a bit better once you get it squared up. So bring my cutting mat.
Do you square it up from the bottom so you can see the stabilizer, or do you square it up from the top?
So we're going to flip it and we're going to look at the stabilizer. But here's the thing. Your stabilizer might have gotten a little stretched in some of the pressing. Your fabric might have stretched a little bit. So we really do want to be careful to trim this up to be the appropriate size. So what she's recommending in the book is the stabilizer is 9 by 9, but the trim is 8.5 by 8.5. So I am going to go ahead and just trim this right around the stabilizer. I'm not going to look at the lines on the mat. I'm just going to go with the stabilizer, and then I'm going to trim it to 8.5 by 8.5.
I'm using a square ruler, which makes this process so much quicker and easier.
It does. Good call.
And especially because like mine has this diagonal line, so you can kind of line up those corners with the strip.
That's a good call. If anybody was in the Stargazer quilting retreat and you got the ruler kit, you could use your big 16.5 by 16.5 inch ruler for that, because this is smaller than that, and you just have to put it up in one of the corners and use that diagonal line, and you wouldn't have to keep, you'd only have to trim 2 sides then.
Oh, Kathy, that is a loaded question there. Like,
would you worry about directional material going the same way? No.
If it's going to bug you, keep it out.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get chaotic.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I mean, I think if you're fussy cutting something for the center of a block, yes, that should probably, you should make an effort to make sure that's right side up. And you know what I mean? But if it's like the ice cream cones, for example, you know, that doesn't really bother me too much. Or I could just make an effort and turn that. Look at how nice this looks now.
I know.
That it's squared up, you guys. Oh, that looks so good too.
Yeah.
Oh, yay, we did it.
I think though, if you're putting directional fabric in and you want to make sure that it is the right direction, you have to plan out basically the whole quilt. Because the beauty of these blocks is that you can like change them around and change the design.
Yep.
So you want to be able to flip it without worrying about that.
I think directional, I mean, here's the thing with your scraps, the directional fabric might, you know, you're kind of defeating a bit of the purpose of the scrappy whatever and throwing it together. However, if you're being that methodical with, you know, kind of where it's going. But if it means a lot to you, do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's your quilt, it's your scraps. So basically what happens next, so I've got this block made up. Just keep making them, and you don't have to make them in similar colorways. Now I've used like what looks like a lot of blues here, but you can put whatever you want together. You know, in the book, she really didn't stick with any kind of like, it kind of just looks like a bit of low and medium volume prints. If the colors are going to be all over the place, you might want to consider what's on the actual fabric. Like if it's too wild, you know, it might look more pleasing to the eye if they're all sort of the same, like pattern temperature. Does that make sense, Amanda?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if I took a couple of the blocks that I've already made, so for example, like these ones, I didn't use the stabilizer on these ones. I just went ahead and did it. You're basically going to sew them together like you would any other quilt. So you're going to decide how you want it to go together. So what she's suggesting in the pattern is for them to be opposite. So you're going to make 4 of these blocks for one big block. And it doesn't matter whether the stripes are the same size or not. And we're going to right sides together. And just like we would with any quilt, 1/4 inch seam. And what's kind of nice about scrappy quilts like this is if you find when you've sewn it together that like one of them you can get to 8.5, but a lot of them you can't, then just make them all 8 or 8.25. Like when you're following a pattern, like in our retreats, and they're saying square it up to 16.5, and then we all panic because oh, mine's only 16.
Yeah.
And then you're cutting off the tips of your stars. In this case, that really doesn't matter. So I'm going to go ahead and press my seams. I'm going to press them open here because I feel like I've got enough bulk going on, and I'm a convert to pressing the seams open. And I'm using steam now. I wasn't using steam before, but this, I've never had a better iron for steam than this one. So I just love, you just have to push the button underneath, and yes.
I need to try it out when I come
This
down.
iron?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When you're here, we have a station set up in the shop to try the irons, to try any of the machines that you want. So definitely we've been pulling fabric out of the dryer so it's super wrinkly so people can put a little spritz of flatter and then
Yep.
Okay, so there is one side. I'm just going to press the other side. Again, seams open.
Jen, someone's asking the hours of your store, and I believe they are very long and generous.
For right now, the hours of the stores are very long and generous. We're open 9 to 7 this week because we're seeing what time people want to come, and so that we can make the hours what people need them to be. You know, lots of times we're here in the evening doing these lives, so it might make sense to stay open until 7 on the nights that we're doing those lives because we're here anyway. So hey, come on in.
Yeah.
Or maybe it makes sense to stay open just a couple nights a week so that people can come after work. Because let's face it, some of these shops, I gotta say, are closing at like 4 p.m. or 3 p.m. And it's like, that's not for, like, everybody can't make it all the time at those times. I get that. So that's what we're up to. Right now, come see us 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you want to make sure I'm here, because I kind of do one block and then Amanda's doing another block, and you know, other people are helping me work in the shop. If you want to make sure that I'm here, then make an appointment and I'll make sure that I'm here. So you guys want to while I sew this together, because you know what I'm doing here, why don't we take a little look at the store in case you haven't seen it.
It is so beautiful.
Oh,
It's
thanks,
so
Amanda.
nice.
It's like, it really does feel good to be in it. Someone came in today and said, the energy in here is good. I was like, oh, yay. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. Made with love, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And everyone is lovely in there. I got to meet Amanda finally in person, the Amanda behind the camera.
Yeah, Amanda behind the scenes. Karen's behind the camera. Amanda's behind the scenes. Yep.
And then I was actually there when Jen was training some of the new staff, and they were all so lovely and knowledgeable. Like, you're going to love it.
Yeah. Everyone's super nice and have been just like, you know, things when they're meant to be kind of lay out in front of you, right? Like, and you kind of walk this path, and if you're resisting and roadblocks, that's not your way, you know? Find the way that feels good. And that's what's this entire move, this entire, you know, store opening. You know, this was a quilt shop before. Karen McGee had it for 33 years, quilt time. It's amazing. And she's still going. She's still open. She's got a she shed at her house. So I've been sending people there and she's been sending people here. And, she asked me if I wanted to do a retreat with her in the fall and we'd go to this place. And, it's just such a lovely community. There's another quilt shop in Kingston that sent me a beautiful bouquet of flowers. So nice. And you know what? That's just sort of like the lovely people that you encounter. Like in these lives, everybody, so many people were traveling to come this weekend. Or if you want to come and you're thinking about making the trip, March 4th is going to be our grand opening weekend. Amanda Brown from Genoa, right there. Right there. That way. She's going to be here demoing. Are you going to demo on the M7?
No. I don't know. I think Michael was going to do that. I don't know. We have no plan yet.
We're going to make a plan. I definitely want to see Michael whip us into shape with the long arm. The long arm, we got a long arm. It's right there. And it is humongous. So we're getting situated with that. That's a fun new toy for the shop. So we're all getting, accustomed to it. If you did our Lottie quilt along, you know that I went to Genome with Amanda Brown and we played with the long arms at Genome headquarters. And that was it for me. I had to have one.
That was hilarious.
It's sort of hard to justify for me anyway, the expense of that just to have it at home. But for work, hey, it's a work thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we got the long arm. And so once we get that up and going, we'll be letting you guys know how we can help you, in that way. Maybe you'll do your quilts and send them back to it. We'll send you the kit. And then maybe we'll next year send them right on back to us and we'll long arm it for you. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Right?
Yes. Yeah. That'd be fun.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to press this in the middle. I also wanted to let you guys know we got a lot of messages from people who are just starting out quilting, but love the scrappy look, but do not have enough scraps. So even though this is free February, so lots of you do have enough scraps, maybe we'll put up the link. We put together a scrap bundle. So that anybody that was wanting to make these sort of scrappy blocks or got the kit and doesn't have enough scraps, we will send you 3 yards of scraps. So all cut up. Is it all cut up or 3 long yards and then they cut it up? So we're going to cut it into all the scraps. Yeah. So 3 yards worth. That's how I should say it. 3 yards worth of scraps. And by scraps, this is not like used. We'll grab a whole bunch of materials which were new and cut them up for you because
I mailed in a package to Jen.
I know. I'm not going to give you my old stuff that has like stabilizer on it and like threads through it. But lots of people were like, yes, please send me, please. I need some scraps, and trying to order yardage just to cut up or a quarter yard just to cut up. So we'll put on a link. There it is. Amanda just put it up. For a scrappy bundle if you're in need, or you could just if you're in want. We can say it's free February, but hey, you don't have
I've already spent money
in case you need it. All right, there we go. Oh,
it's beautiful.
That's great, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I will say this one does not have the stabilizer on it, and it's a little wonkier in spots. Like it's a little stretchier. Because these fabrics are going every which way. And so it is a little wonkier than the one that has the stabilizer on it for sure. But it's going to look gorgeous when it's all together. And I just, I encourage you to figure out what else you want to make with this block. So if you wanted to, so there's obviously a block that can go next to the other block, which is somewhere under my pile here. I have the full quilt block. Yeah, so here's one. And then I can put it next to the second one. You can see how lovely this is going to be and
beautiful.
Like if I start this now, By the time the snow melts, right, we'll have a beautiful, beautiful spring quilt. I should just keep going. But the other thing is if you're not in it to do a whole quilt, like that just seems too daunting at this point, do like I did with the pink one and turn this into a little pouch. Maybe let me know if you need the pouch instructions or if you guys can figure that out. Because we can do that too. We're basically going to put the zipper, let me see here. Once you've got your, so there's 2 big quilt blocks, but if you wanted to do the pouch, when you've got your 2 blocks together, like this. Ooh, look, some echoing.
Oh, it's like you planned it.
Yeah, it's a happy accident. I'll take it. So you're going to right sides together, and then we'll just put the zipper in here. But first, I'm going to put the batting behind this. And again, scraps are good. Lots of times we've got scraps of batting. And how are we doing for time? Oh, we're already like an hour. And I know we lost some time because of our electrical issues, but I've got some scrap of batting here. And maybe what I'll do is this week, I'll put together a little something on how to turn this into a pouch, just a quick tutorial. And if you got the kit, then you have the zipper that you could make this into a pouch, because now you know how to make the block. And I'll show you how to go ahead and turn this whole thing into a pouch. Not hard at all. We're right sides together, but we do need to quilt this before we make the actual pouch. So that's going to be a second step. So I'll go ahead and I'll put together a little video on how to do the pouch so that we're not, because it's going to take another hour. So make up a bunch of blocks, decide how you want to use them. And then in the next day or so, I will post right here on Facebook how to make it into a pouch. I'm suggesting a 13-inch zipper. And you might snip some, or you might have some tail that tucks in. That's fine. But 13-inch zipper, and I will show you how to finish the zipper and make the zipper tags. These zipper tags, I got to tell you, are perfect for little 1.5 by 1.5 or 2-inch pieces. You know, sometimes we think like, oh, should I be keeping a little blah, 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 you know? Yeah, these zipper tabs are actually like a real star of the show, eh, Amanda?
Yes, they're beautiful.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we'll do this week. Maybe tomorrow we'll film that. Okay, Karen? I'm just telling, we'll film that tomorrow. People are saying a tutorial would be good. Can you use zips on a roll? Absolutely. In fact, if you've got zipper tape already, then whatever size block or whatever size your 2 blocks end up being, or if you want to just make it a very small pouch like this, like just for like your AirPods or your charger cords or just a change purse, whatever, you can just do a little like 8-inch zipper.
Yeah.
And especially if you've got zips on a roll, then you can make them any size. Just don't do what I always do, which is pull off the end.
So are we talking about like the select a size zippers where you get a huge and you cut them
Get
down?
a roll.
Okay.
So especially if you guys have been following me since my crafters days, my crafters companion days, we had a product called Zips on a Roll. And what they were, I don't think we have any up here, but it's like a roll of zipper tape. And
Right.
there's about like 20 or 10 or something zipper pulls on there. And you just move the zippers down. Is that what you mean too, Amanda?
I think
Is that what you're
so.
saying? Yeah, it's something like that. And then you just cut whatever size zipper you want, pull your one zipper pull into place, cut your zipper, and then it's open at both ends. Like the zipper is closed, but the actual, like if you were to pull your zipper off. So you do have to stitch it so that it doesn't slide off and put that zipper tab on there. So I'll show you how to do that in the tutorial, because you're getting zipper tape in the kit, and it's good practice for any zipper.
I saw a thing today on the TikTok where they were using that kind of zipper on a roll, but they said install your zipper but don't put the zipper pull on it until the very last moment so that you're not sewing around it. And they showed it. It looked like super easy because we're always trying to maneuver around the zipper pull.
I know. And there's a question here. If you pulled off the zipper, how do you put it back on?
They go back on as long as the teeth are still closed.
Yes, they will go back on. I've seen people do it with a fork where you have like 2 prongs of the fork and it kind of, I've pulled off so many and I typically just junk them because I can never get it back on. Now, some zipper tapes that come that are a bit wider, like a 5-inch, most zipper tapes like that I've had have been 3, like a number 3. And honestly, the teeth are just too small and I have a really hard time getting them back on. The number 5 zippers, you can get back on much more easily. Oh, someone's saying that they have a zipper jig. Yeah, there's some products out there for that. But one of the things that we're going to have in the shop, it hasn't happened yet, or that we've dreamed of having, is a zipper bar where we've got like all kinds of zips on a roll and you pull off whatever length that you want. Sort of like the rope. People buy lots of rope from us for rope bowls. And we've got a whole rope section. So the zippers and all the cute zipper pulls are on their way. You know.
Is it going to be fun colors of tape? Of the zipper tape?
All the colors of zipper tape. Some are like even got patterns on them. And then like gold, rose gold, silver, the rainbow, like the snips, like all kinds of cool zippers. They're coming. They're coming.
Yes, please.
Yeah, it's like one thing at a time in the shop, honestly. Like everything's so much work. I'm so tired. All right, bye. We're done. Time for bed. Time for bed. All right, I will put a little tutorial together about how to turn this block into a zipper pouch because, and you know, you do need to quilt it first. And I'm basically just going to quilt right along those edges there just to give it a little bit of extra texture. You could use some, you know, of your decorative stitches if you've got them in your quilting. You can have a little bit of fun with it. You can put some words down it, do whatever you want. But now, quilt it, yeah.
If we use, because I have like, it's a fairly thick stabilizer, like it's a really generous one. Like I think I might get away with not using the batting and having to quilt it.
Okay, sure.
So I might try that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your bag will feel a little like less like squishy. You know, this feels like quilted, and we're using like a big piece on the inside. Like I used a fat quarter and cut it. But if you want to do something scrappy on the inside too, you know, like, you know, patch a couple things together, go for it. You just have to make sure that you've got like enough space. But I'll show you that in the tutorial.
And if the people are using the batting as the stabilizer, cut out a step right there.
There you go. That's true. You totally could. You totally could. I'm using, like for this one, I use the stabilizer and the batting. So it's quite structured. For a bag, I like them to be structured. I don't want it flopping around. I like that it can stand up on its own and you know what I mean? So. Okay, Amanda, thank you so much for being here. And I think this was a pretty good use up your scraps, you know, get it going. I hope you've all been, you know, motivated to, you know, get out what you've got and put it to good use, because I swear it will feel like brand new fabric when you put it together like this. You're going to love, love, love the Scrappy feeling. And if you don't have the book, we've got two left. And then you can be following along step by step. It's on our website. And oh yeah, Lori Holtz recommends no batting in her article, in her pattern. But she's quilting it. Like for this, it's a whole quilt.
Yeah.
So yes, you're using batting. But yeah, for the pouch, I still used batting. It's up to you. Amanda's going to do it no batting. I'm going to do it with batting. All right.
We'll see who wins.
You guys. Yeah. We'll see who's wins, right? Like whose pouch gets used the longest? I don't know. Whoever you gift this to appreciates it the most. Anyway, okay. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. We will see you next week, same time. And until then, if you have any questions, you can post them in the group. Bye. Bye.